Okay, good afternoon. Without wasting much of our time, let's get started. Today we are creating a basic bodice pattern, a basic blouse pattern, and this is what you are going to achieve at the end of this tutorial. So if you can make this pattern, you can use it to make any type of blouse depending on how creative you are. So the measurements we are going to be needing is our bust, waist, shoulder to nipple, waistline, blouse length, nipple to nipple, and your upper hips. I'm going to be using my own measurements, so you use your own measurement to do your own. So now the first thing I'm going to do is to create my guideline. I'm going to create my guideline, just about ½ inch for the guideline. So make sure it's very straight. You can use your own. You can use tape rule to measure ½ inch, so as to get a very straight line. So I'm okay with that. So the next thing I'm going to take now, I'm assuming that our fabric is on fold like this. This place, if you are cutting it on your fabric, this place should be on fold, but because this is a pattern paper, that's why we are using it like this. We don't want to waste our paper. So now we are going to place the horizontal measurements, which are the shoulder to nipple, which is 11. As our shoulder to nipple is 11, you have to add ½ inch for the same allowance. You don't just mark on 11, but you can also mark on 11 if it is for just paper like this. But for you for more accuracy, you can just make everything accurate on your paper, so you just cut directly on your fabric. So now my shoulder to nipple is 11, so I'm going to mark 11 and a half. That's for same allowance. I'm going to mark it all the way down. As you can see, you make sure your nipple is very straight. 11 and a half. Yeah, 11 and a half. Then the next one is, this is our shoulder to nipple line. The next thing is our waistline. My waist is 16, so I'm going to take 16.5. Remember I said you're going to have ½ inch for your same allowance. 16.5. 16.5. That's my waistline. 16.5. Then lastly is the length of the blouse. I'm just going to use 25 as the length of my blouse. But as the length of the blouse is 24, I'm using 24. Sorry. As the length of the blouse is 24, now I'm going to make use of 25. Reason is that ½ inch for the upper allowance and ½ inch for the down end allowance. So I'm going to make 25. So after this, I'm just going to connect it into a straight line. Then I'll label it so that you will not be confused. This is my okay. Having done that, this is our bust line. This is the waistline, and this is the blouse length. So after this horizontal measurement has been placed, the next thing you are going to do is your shoulder measurement. My shoulder measurement is 16. That 16 you are going to divide it by 2. Remember I said our clothes is on fold. You are going to divide it by 2. So we are going to divide 16 by 2. That's 8. Then I'm not going to just take 8, but I'm going to add ½ inch. That will make it 8.5. You get that? 8.5. Then after that, my armhole length. How do you get your armhole length now? You get your armhole length by dividing your bust by 6. I did it here. Your bust divided by 6. I hope you can see that. Bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. My bust is 38 divided by 6. Gave me to 6.3 plus 1.5. So that's 7.8. I'm just going to approximate that to 8 inches. So that is the length, my armhole length. So I'm just going to place it right here. My armhole length right here. Then the 8.5 that I already used here is the same thing I'm going to place here, just to make sure it's straight. That's why I'm doing this. You can see that. So I'm just going to join this line together. this and like this. So this is the armhole line. Armhole line. Or let's just write armhole. Can you see that? So next now we are going to do is that, remember that our shoulder is not straight. If you are very observant, you will notice that your shoulder is not straight. You have a slopey shoulder. So that's why we always put shoulder slope in all kind of pattern we make. We put shoulder slope. How do you create your shoulder slope? You come to this side and pick half an inch. Some people use 1, depending on how slopey the person's shoulder is. So then you come to the neckline. The standard is 3. So from that 3, like you can see that very well, you just connect it like this. That will make it slopey like this. Like you can see that. So that is our shoulder slope. I'm going to just label everything so that you will not get confused. Shoulder slope. So now that we have inserted our horizontal measurement, the next thing is our darts. Let's place our darts. How do you get your dart line? You get your dart line by dividing your nipple to nipple into 2. Like my own nipple to nipple is 7 inches now. I'm going to divide that by 2. That's 3.5. Remember I said we are going to be adding seam allowance to any kind of measurements we are going to be inserting. So instead of me to just pick that 3.5, I'm going to put ½ inch for seam allowance for sewing. So that's 4. So I'm just going to connect that line. I'm going to connect it down from my bust line. So this is my dart line. What is the essence of putting a dart in the dress? It's for the dress to have grip and to be fitted, to have structure. That is why we used to insert darts. So this is the dart line now. So after putting the dart line, then we are now going to insert our darts. Inserting the darts used to come in the waistline. That is, from this waistline, you are going to take ½ inch from both sides. This will give you a dress structure. ½ inch here, ½ inch here. Then you connect it down here. But so that the dart will not be too sharp, you come down by 1 inch here. Also from this part, you come up by 1 inch. So this is how you connect your darts. From this point to this point, like this, and here, like this. Then I'm going to take it all the way down, like this, and this. I'm going to blend it off here, like this. So that is our dart. Remember I took ½ inch, ½ inch, ½ inch for the dart, and here to here I came up by 1 inch. From here to I came up by 1 inch, that is here to here, so that the dart will not be too sharp. That's the essence of doing that. So after this has been done, we are going to input our vertical measurements. That is your bust. Like our bust is 38 now. 38. I'm going to divide 38. There are 2 methods for creating this, but I'm going to tell you this method first. Then in the next video, I'm going to teach you the next method. So this 38, I'll just divide it by 2, which is 19. Remember, this is the front pattern. We are still going to do the back pattern of this blouse. 38 divided by 2 is 19. So this 19, I'm going to add 3 inches. 1, 2, 3. That's 22. The 3 inches I added is the same allowance. 1, 2, 3, making 22. So this 22, now I'm not going to place 22 like this. I'm going to divide this 22 into 2 again, which will give us 11. Remember, this our outfit is folded into 2. The front pattern is folded into 2. That is why I'm dividing it by 2 again. I said, let me come again. I said the bust is 38, which I divided it by 2. That is the front pattern. 19. After I divide by 2, then I'll add 3 inches for the same allowance, which is 1 2 3, gave me 22. After I've got to 22, I'm going to divide it into 2 again and place it here, which is 11. Which is 11. Yes, and I can place it here too. Just 11. Then the waistline, my waist is 32. Just the same way I did this. 32 divided by 2 is 16, plus 3 inches, same allowance, 1 2 3, that's 19. 19 divided by 2 will give me about 9.5. 9.2, yes, 9.5. So I'm going to place 9.5 here. As you can see, this is my 9.5. And then the hip, I'm not going to use my hip of 42 because this is a blouse, and the blouse always stops somewhere below the waist, so I'm not going to use 42. I'm just going to use 42. So I'm reducing my hip by 2 inches because it's not a gown, this is just a blouse. So I'm going to use my hip of 40. I'm going to use 40 as my hip. So I'm going to divide that, just as we did for the bust to waist. I'm going to divide that 40 to 2. That gives me 20. 20 plus 3 inches, same allowance, that's 23. 23 divided by 2 again, that will give us 11.5. Yes, 11.5. So I'm just going to place 11.5 here and mark it. So after that has been done, I'm just going to connect those lines from my bust here to the waist, and from the waist to the hip line, to the blouse length rather. So this is the shaping. But let me check something. You know, we have taken out 1 inch for that here. We have to replace it back here. 1 inch that we have taken out from this part, we have to replace it back here, like this, so that will not be short for our measurement. So I'm going to reconnect that like this. I'm going to take it back like this. Can you see that? So now move to the armhole. For the front armhole, there's something about the front armhole. It's always curvy inside, just to give the dress the top more fitting. So I'm going to come here like this. I'm going to look for the midpoint of this armhole. Like I have 7.5 here now. The midpoint is going to be somewhere around here. So from there I'm going to come in by half an inch. So I'm going to create my armhole cuff like this. I'm going to use free hand to construct that. That's where you use your cuff. For me, I don't like using cuff. But sometimes when you get used to using it, you might not be able to use your free hand. So that's my armhole for the front armhole. Then the neckline now. Yeah, gradually coming to the end of this front pattern drafting. So depending on your choice, what you want, you might want your neck to be white. I'm just going to use 4 by 5 inch. Just depending on how you want it. I'm just going to use 4 by 5, and I'm going to connect it like this into a curve because it's a round neck. So that is that. Then there's something we call the bust dart. It is optional. If you want your dress to have more fitting and more grip, then you can have your bust dart. You have your bust dart from this bust line. You come down by 1 inch or 1.5 inch. So from there, take half from here, and you connect it to the bust line. First, let's take the middle line like this. Just blend it in like that. I'm sorry, my marker is dripping because it's here. So that is the bust dart. It is optional. If you want it to to give your dress more fitting. Then after that, remember that we are taking anything that we are taking it out. So this is half inch, and that's 1 inch altogether. So here we are going to replace that 1 inch here, so that our fabric will not be short. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to replace 1 inch here, and I'm going to connect it like this in a slant form, so that by the time we cut this off, this place will not be short. I hope you get that. Like that. Then I'm going to blend it back. So for this front bodice, we are done. So for the back pattern bodice, we will continue that in the next video I'm going to upload. We will create the back pattern. The only difference in the back pattern is that the back pattern will not have this bust that, and the back pattern is going to have a zipper allowance. So that's just the difference. And the back pattern armhole is not going to go straight like this. It's not going to come in this way. So I hope this tutorial has been helpful.